Hi, my name is Phil Davison, and my business is located here in Cavendish, and it's called Chapel Hill Cavendish. This is really a business predicated on principles of social enterprise. So we not only want to be connected to the community, but we want to give back. And focuses on imagination, hope, and peace. And those are the attributes that we want to manifest in all the activities and events that take place here. Although on this snowy day, you got to have a lot of hope that things are going to be good. We're sitting in an old chapel that actually came from Brackley. It's about 250 years old, 20 acres of land, surrounded by the national park, and only about 5 minutes from the beach. We've been involved in leadership, workshops, in working with youth, offering retreats. So when the opportunity to purchase this chapel and move into the property came, it was a chance to kind of take advantage of the landscape, the PEI land, and the ocean and all the natural assets that exist here. When we moved the chapel here, it was like it just found its home, which is really interesting because it had been moved once before from previous location, kind of fallen in disrepair. We think that that's kind of an apt metaphor for helping people with their life. We're hoping to have some creative workshops here, perhaps some music workshops. Just put a deck on the back and you can look out and watch the sun go down here and think about your life or play your favorite tune. So we're looking at a number of possibilities for this business. You can see the chapel itself is not finished, so we're working to finish it. A typical day here is both looking at the details of how do we get a board put on the roof, or how do we get something straight, coupled with how do we get financing to help us move forward, and then thinking about what's the broad vision we want to do. I think focusing that on how we can work collaboratively with people here, so that what we really have is a business that's rooted and connected in the community first. This business has helped me personally think about possibilities in my life at this stage in my life, thinking about what the future might hold and how we can build something here that has some longevity that will outlast us. This is an old piece of tin, and this tin, which is also on the walls behind me, was made up, it was all around this building, so we had to tear a lot of this down. It's going to take a lot of time, but there's 200 years of history here, and so we want to preserve that. This is the master design. It doesn't look like much, but this little angle, believe it or not, took me probably 4 hours to get figured out, and then to use this to cut 400 of these individual that actually are on the edge of the bell tower. Now, most people will never know that. Every time I look at the bell tower, I look back at this and think, yeah, start with this little thing, and now it's a bell tower on the roof that I can pull the cord and ring the bell, and I think that's kind of cool. What generally happens, interestingly enough, is if I'm up here working on the chapel, and people, because we're located next to the trail, people walk by all the time. And so inevitably someone says, hey, how are you doing? Why do you have this chapel here in the middle of this field overlooking the water? The best way to find out what you need to do is not only being self-sufficient, but also connecting to everybody else here and find out what their assets are, what their imagination ideas are, so that you end up with a business that really can be successful. I think the biggest challenge is not losing hope. It's maintaining your vision and hoping that things are going to work out, that financing is going to work out, that the chapel is going to survive the winter, that when a hurricane strikes that you didn't anticipate, it's not going to blow the bell off the top of the roof. Big sky here, the ocean's here. You get to really feel the seasons quite acutely here. The space is actually the inspiration. In the middle of winter in an island, you may not be, people may not think you're actually running your business, but you're thinking about it all the time. and how you're going to keep it going, and the somewhat isolation, rural area where you're located. But that's also a benefit because it gets you thinking, and then you start to imagine what is possible. So there's a long artistic, creative history here. There's a lot of artisans and people around who see this little building and wonder what it is and have ideas about what might be possible. I would call them moments of grace or moments of imagination when you meet people to keep you inspired. It's allowed me to reflect on what do I want to give back, and how do I want to be remembered, and how do I want my family to be remembered. It makes you do your best.